welcome back to the session. So in previous session we have seen what is the object oriented classes. Okay, so what is the object oriented concept? So let us go for the next concept, that is the design model. So what is the design model in the software engineering? What are the different types of models? So we have said that so there are some different types of models, so we have to use some different architectures for that. So what are those? So in coming sessions we have to know all those things. So let us go further. What is the design model in the software engineering? Okay, so the design model. So the design model can be viewed in two different ways. Okay, two different dimensions. What is that? So the first one is the process dimension. Okay, so what is the process dimension? And next one is the abstract dimension. So what is process dimension and what is abstract dimension? What is those? Let us see further. So the process dimension, it will indicate the evaluation of the design model as design tasks are executed as part of the software process. So process dimension. So in this design model, what they do is they evaluate the evaluation of the design model as design tasks. So what type of design model we have to insist for this software product in order to develop that? So that is a process dimension. And second one is the abstract dimension. So what is the abstract dimension? So this abstract dimension, what it represents? It represents the level of detail as each element of analysis model is transformed into design equivalent and refined iteratively. Like, so if you want to apply some agile methods, so then what type of abstraction, what type of model we can refer that? So that is for the abstract. So whereas the process dimension is to know what type of design model we can insist for the design task. Okay. Whereas abstract dimension, it will represent the level of detail. That means how after the requirement analysis done, so what is the next level? So in that level, what we can do? So if we want to do some more changes in the project, some more changes in the software development of the product, so then we will go for the abstract dimensions. So okay, these are the two dimensions for the design model. So the design model has four major elements. And this design model, so what is in this design model concept, we have the four elements. What are that? So we said that we have the two dimensions. In order to represent these two dimensions, so we have to use some elements. So what are those elements in the design model? So the first one is data, and second one is the architecture, components and interface. So these are the four elements that deals with the design model. So let us go for the each. So next one is, at the program component level, the design of data structures and the associated algorithms required to manipulate them is essential to the creation of high quality application. Okay. So one second. So there are different levels in the design model. So what are those levels? First one is the program component level. So we have said that design model has some four elements. So data, architecture, and next one is the components and interface. So in order to use these elements, we have the different levels of the design model. So what are those levels is, the first one is the program component level. So components, that means some packages what we are doing. So in that programming level, so what is this? So in the programming level, design of data structures. So how to the elements, whatever the elements we have represented the data in a design model, data, components, interfaces. So how we can interact, how we can connect with those. So what type of program we have to write for each connecting of the element. So that is done in the program component level. And next one is the application level. So at application level, what is the thing happen? So in application level, the translation of the data model into a database. So for example, if you want to connect to some database for your application, so if it is a website, compulsory we have to require some database. For database, so at application level, the translation of the data model into a database is pivotal to achieving the business objectives of a system. So how it is connecting to the database? So after connecting the database, so what is the changes are going on and the user is interacted to that. So that is done at the application level. And next, at business level. And third level is the business level. So in this business level, the collection of information, so whatever the collection of information that is stored in the application level, that means in the database, that are stored in disparate databases and reorganized into a data warehouse. So you have heard them. So whatever the data that is collected at the application level, that collected data will be stored in disparate databases and reorganized. So many websites will be there. Okay. So those websites, whatever the data it is collecting, so those data will be reorganized and stored in a one place. That place is called as a data warehouse. So which is for the enables the data mining. So like if you go for the Google search, in Google search, whatever you are searching, you are writing some word, some synonym or whatever it is. So it gives us some links, how it is giving. So because of the technique of the data mining. Okay. Or knowledge discovery. We can also say data mining or knowledge discovery. So it is about the data warehouse. So if you, in third year you will be able to know. So in DBMS. So what is database? Okay. So that can have an impact on the success of the business itself. So what is the link between the data mining and business level? For example, some websites or some business people will make some calls to like HDFC, ICICI Bank. Why? How they are getting our phone numbers? How they are getting our mail IDs? Some mails will come, in a social forms or in update modes like that. In that you will have some companies' mails. How you are getting without you are interfering with that website or without you are interacting with that people. So you are getting the calls, you are getting the mails. How they are getting our mail IDs and our phone numbers? Through the data warehouse. Okay. And next, for the enlarging their business activities. So whatever the business activities they are doing, so in order to enlarge with it, so they have to make some customers. In order to for purpose, so they have to use some databases. That is a data warehouse. Okay. And next, so in design model, we have the 4 types of elements. Okay, architecture, interface elements, component level, and deployment level. Okay, so in architecture means in designing model. So this is the design model. So in architecture, this is the analysis. So it is a high level, it is some low level. So this is a process dimension, this is the abstract dimension. So they have taken the 2 dimensions. So we said that design model have the 2 dimensions. One is process and one is the abstraction. So abstraction in the y-axis and process in the x-axis. Okay. So if you have seen that, so elements, whatever the 4 elements, architecture, interface, component, and deployment levels. So whatever the data, we said the data is architectural elements. Okay. So in this architectural elements, how they are designed. So in the analysis model, it will go further. In design model, it will go further. Design, class, realization, subsystems, collaboration diagrams. So some of the diagrams they will draw for the software product. Okay. So after the design model, they will go for the these process. First, they will go for the some class diagrams. So here the arrow indicates downwards. That means from high level to design model. First analysis model. First, after they taking the requirements, what you people do? So whatever the software people will do. So they will do some analysis. So they will go for the some analysis model. So in order to do the analysis models of the requirements, they have to draw some diagrams. What are those? Class diagram. So some packages, CRC, collaboration, relationship, relationship, collaboration models. Okay, collaboration diagrams, data flow, control flow, and processing narratives. So we have seen all this in previous sessions. So after that, they will go for the design. So similarly, if it has the interface elements, so these are the diagrams they will draw. These are the things they will consider in the design model. So if it is a component level, so these are the component level. And if it is go for the deployment, these are the deployment. Okay. So these are the things they consider in the design model. So in the 2 dimensions. Okay. And next one is architectural design elements. So whatever we have seen previously, that is the design model. So now we are going for the what is the architecture design elements. So architecture design for a software, the equivalent to the floor plan of a house. So what what is meant by architecture? How said what is the architecture? Architecture is nothing but just giving us some plan. So the software product at the output you will get like this. So we are given some plan in the diagrammatic way. Okay, so that is the meaning. So architecture design for software is equivalent to the floor plan of a house. So in order to construct a house, what you people do? You will reach some engineer. So after reaching the engineer, they will give us some, according to your requirements, they will draw some plan. So whatever the plan they are giving, so that is called as the architecture. Okay. So next point is, the floor plan depicts the overall layout of the room. Yes or no? Yes. The sizes, shapes and relationship to one another. How the rooms are connected with each other. Okay. How the floor is going to be connected. How the swimming pool is connected. So how much size it will occupy. So how much space we have to need. So like that. So next, thirdly. So architecture design elements gives us an overall view of the software. So in architecture, whatever the elements we draw, so that gives the overall picture of the software. So at the end of the product, how the software looks, it depends upon the architecture. Okay. So the architecture model is derived from the three sources. So what are those three sources? The first one is information about the application domain for the software to be built. So on what domain we have to build the system. So whether it is Java domain or it is some what domain, what type of domain it is going to be used. So we have to know the information. And secondly, specific requirements model elements such as data flow diagrams, DFD. On analysis classes, their relationship and collaboration for the problem at hand. So whatever the requirements we have taken, what are the requirement elements we have drawn. So what are the requirement models, like some class diagrams, okay. So after that, what is the relationship between them? So what is the collaboration between them? That means elements are nothing but, for example, there is a front end, back end. So if a front end is taken as a one element, back end is taken as one element for a website application. So how these both front end and back end will be connected? How the collaboration has to be done? So if people are logging, for example, for Gmail. So if you click the login, so it will going to open your login page or your Gmail account. So how it is getting the details? So how it is collaborating with the database? Okay, so that is it. So next one is the availability of the architecture styles and patterns. So what is the architecture styles and patterns? We'll see later. Okay, so the availability of the architecture, or different styles of architectures are available and different patterns of the architecture are also available. So what type of architecture style and pattern we are following? So we have to know. So those three things we have to know before going for the architecture. So the interface, and next point is interface design element. So after the architecture design elements, we are going for the next one is the. So these are the concepts of the design model. So in design model we have the four elements. One is the architectural elements, second interface, third component, and fourth one is the deployment level. So after these four we have seen the what is the architectural design elements. So next we are going for the interface design elements. So what is the interface design elements in the design model? So the interface design for the software is analogous. So is analogous to a set of detailed drawings to the doors, windows and external utilities of a house. So in the architecture, how the doors will be used, how the windows and external utilities, so how we are getting the air, so how the windows will be connected, how the exit fan can be connected at what way, what type, okay, like that. So how the we can go give the utilities to the house. Construction of a house means it should have some doors and windows, everything. If you don't have the doors and windows, if you construct only with walls, then we can't be live properly. Okay. So in the house it has to allow some sunlight into that. Like that. So how this interface design of the software is nothing but is how we have drawn the doors and windows and external utilities of a house, like that. These interface elements also will act as a like that. So how? So there are three important component elements of the interface design. Okay, so in interface design elements of will have the three elements. What are those? So how the software product construction. So how these interface elements will interact with one to one. Okay, so the first one is the user interface. So interface meaning is how the users face the system, how the system faces the user. For example, how I am facing the camera. So camera is a one system, let us say. Okay, how I am facing the camera. So is it comfortable to me? How this camera is facing by me? That means like I can operate with the camera or not. So whether I can switch on or I can switch off or I can zoom it. So whether I am understanding the what is the system is. For example, if you people are having some phone, new future phone. Okay, so when you are operating with the phone, how come you know? So if you click on like this, so it will open like this. So how the buttons will be used? You have to know about that. Okay, so that is the interface. So utilizing of the system, how the humans can utilize the system most effectively. So that is the user interface. We call as the UI. Okay, and next, second one is external internet interfaces to other systems like devices, networks, or other producers. Like for example, if your system has connecting to some LAN or you are connecting some Wi-Fi or hotspot, so how it is acting for that. So whether it is connecting or you are getting any problem. Okay, and next, third one is internal interfaces between various design components. So if you are using the high version of the software and you are downloading some latest software, so then how the system will interact with it. So within the system itself, within the operating system itself. So for example, in your laptop, okay, you formatted your system and you installed some Windows version of the latest one. So after installing the latest version of the Windows, so whatever the other softwares that are there in your system by default, so those are how they are working with the system. So whether for example, whether PSE media player is working or not properly, or is for example some GOM player. So GOM player is for some videos watching. So whether it is working or not. So how there is some internal devices. So hard we can call it some devices. For printer connecting, you must have some device drivers. Okay, how does the drivers are working? So whether it is working properly or not, whether we have to update or not. So like that. So internal interfaces between the various design components. So what are the various design components are nothing but like different other softwares. So VLC media player, or else if you downloaded some Chrome web browsers, some web browser, Opera web browsers. So how they are working with it. So these are the three things we have to keep in mind for interface design elements. And next one is a component level device. So design elements. Next one is the third one is the component level. So the component level design for software is equivalent to a set of detailed drawings for each room in a house. So component level means, so after in the architectural plan, so after you are having some house design, in that each room how much capacity it occupies, in each room how much space it requires, in each room how you are designing the windows or doors, whatever it is. So like that component also is a design for the software. That means, for example, website. You are designing some website. After designing the website, for example, one particular page, products page. Okay, in products page, whatever the products are displaying by the business people, that products are appearing to the user or not, whether he is able to buying or not. So what type of products they are displaying, whether the images for that, how they are how they are appearing in the website. Okay, like that. In that view, so is equivalent to a set of detailed drawings for each room in a house. So for example, I built some website of 9 pages. 9 pages are internally constructed? How those 9 pages are internally programmed? So home page. So in the home page, what are the things are there? In profile page, so what are the things are there? So I'm checking each and every page in the website building like that. Then that is called as a component level design elements. So in component design elements, what are the things we have to see? These drawings, whatever the component level design, is mainly for wiring and plumbing with each room and the location of the electrical. Okay, so how we are making some switches or electricity, some water connection, how we are going to a room. So that is how the component level design elements. That means in each page. So how you are connecting. So for example, in product page, you will have so many of the products. Or in the home page, you are having so many of the products displaying, or else if you have some today's deal, so you are displaying them. So how they are providing over there. So that is comes under the component level design elements. The component design element for software fully describes the internal detail of each software component. So each software component is nothing but, so whatever the software you are, whatever the pages you are designing in your website, so each page how detailed it is constructed. So that is a component level design. So in component, to accomplish this, the component level design defines the data structures for all local data objects and algorithm detailed for all processing. So what is the component level design means? We have to write this definition. So within a component and an interface that allows access to all component operations. So whatever the in page, so whatever the products you are showing, so whatever the things you are showing, whatever the links you are providing in that website, in that web page, so how they are accessing, how they are connecting. So after selecting the product, so after you clicking the proceed to buy, so then the page leads to somewhat. So how it is following for the paying of the payment. Okay, so that is a component level design. And next one is the deployment level design elements. So what are the deployment level design elements? So deployment level design elements indicate how software functionality and subsystems will be allocated within the physical computing environment that will support the software. So deployment is nothing but, so in the first unit we have the 5 stages. One is the communication, planning, designing, implementation, coding, and last is the deployment. So deployment or delivery. So what is the deployment meaning is, so whatever the construction of the software product is done in the software developer stage. Okay. So in deployment mode, so whatever the thing they are developed in their environment, that should be shifted to the user's environment. That means, for example, I said I want some software like this, it has to work. Okay, they developed some website. So after they developing the website, I have to check that website in my laptop or in my workplace. So at that my workplace, it also has to work as they are as it worked in the software development environment. So that is a deployment. So indicate how software functionality and subsystems will be allocated within the physical environment that will support the software. Okay. So it is a website means it will support for anywhere. So that is, for example, they have some softwares like, so for example, Moodle. Okay, let us see for the Moodle. So Moodle is one of the software. So in order to maintain that software, you should have some server for that. So Moodle is nothing but for learning management system. So for the students, in order to provide some online courses, for like online exams, for that purpose we use some softwares. Okay, in order to maintain that software, we have to require some separate server system. So in order to provide the security, so what type of software I have to install in that? So what type of environment I have to look into that? So that is a deployment. So deployment diagrams begin in descriptive form, where the deployment environment is described in the general terms. Okay. So next one is the software architecture. So up to now they have that is up to the design model. So next topic is the software architecture. we have said that architecture is nothing but just like a plan. Okay, let us go for the in detail of the architecture. So architecture serves as a blueprint of the system. So blueprint is nothing but like how you are building a house, how the architecture will give the some print, that is called as a blueprint. Okay, and like a dummy model. Okay, so it provides an abstraction to manage the system complexity and establish a communication and coordination mechanisms among the components. So whatever the components you are placing in that software, so how they are communicating, so how they collaborate with each other. So when a user is requesting for something, so how that requesting is coming to the server. So whether it is taking what type of communication is being doing between the components. So that is seen in the architecture. So it defines a structural solution to meet all the technical and operational requirements. So it giving the solution to all the technical and operational requirements. Okay, and also optimizing the common quality attributes like performance and security. So architecture also some optimizing material, reducing of the some problems like performance and security. So let us go for the what is the architecture. So up to now we have seen, so there is the architecture. So in architecture we have the four elements. This is the design models. In design model the architectural elements